I can't really remember where I'm going. Oh my god, so many doors! Yeah, this computer actually works, so we can look in it. We have to... So the bad spores got him a water supply, and yeah, and so that's where things started going bad, I guess. Okay. Okay, some spore. So were they doing this like really on purpose? They have decided to approve your proposal for increasing spore count per milliliter released into low cell water supply. This is so... This evil research group is actually just plain idiotic. Why not just like... If you're gonna infect people purposely, why not just do it in your own lab instead of doing it to a whole town that you can't even watch, you know? Like, you can't just be like, I don't know, what a bad team. It's like there are better ways you could have controlled this. Check Discord. Oh no, I'm scared. Are you gonna have like another Miraidon or some shit? Is it like, oh, I went and bought another pre-release pack just to see what pulls I could get, and you got a second Miraidon? I bet I'm gonna turn up to my pre-release and I don't think I'm gonna get anything special. Let's see. Oh, okay, not a Miraidon. A fucking full art penny. Wow. Oh yeah, the codes won't work till I think official date is 31st, but I could be wrong. Someone in my local like Facebook trades chat got a really nice penny art. I'll show it while I'm here, I guess. Let's see if I can find it. They were offering it for sale or whatever, but I don't know how much they were expecting, but probably a lot, because I think people like Penny. And it's a decent card as well. I think, right? Oh yeah, it's definitely a decent card. It's like a good scoop up net that keeps the items. So let's add image. Browse. Downloads. Let's see. This is what someone posted in like the trade chat. It's like, it's a really nice art, isn't it? I don't know. I can't believe you got a penny and a Miraidon. What the hell? Oh, this game actually detected that I can see slow. Wow. That's official. That's official penny card. Isn't that insane? You can get that. I don't know why the Pokemon card team goes so hard with making amazing looking cards. They keep on topping themselves. Oh, here we go. We found someone. Hello, is someone out there? Ah, yes. Oh, thank Lord. Ever since Experiment Zeta, oh, wow, so they really did 26 of these experiments, huh? Me and a dozen other scientists are trapped inside this room. You need to get... So I don't think they actually did 26 experiments. I think it's just using Zeta. Okay, I guess that's what I came to do in the first place. Okay. So how are we going to get it under control? Are we going to have to fight people? Because ever since it went berserk, that door's been jammed shut. Nothing we could do could get it open. Starting to think it might be something keeping it shut. So to disappoint you, you may as well wait around. It's not safe to be wandering around. Someone needs to get rid of it. I think I can get the door open. How do you think? There's no way you're opening that door. I opened the door. I'm confused. I think there's something I'm misunderstanding. What Delt has quite obviously proven, and to my colleagues, and what my colleagues continue to ignore, is that the human brain is not capable of creating stable symbiosis with the spores. Wow, what a surprise! These spores are actually killing people because they've been killing people. What seems dear to me, what pens dear to me, is that the best way to utilize the properties of the spores is to merge them with living Pokemon. I guess that's what happened to Jack. Now, after my work on Gamma, this absolutely has to work. I can't have another failure under my belt, but I'm certain this line of experimentation will lead to results. It has to. And I guess that's what happened to Jack. And possibly another Pokemon that we're going to end up fighting. The company has allocated me a litter of EVs selected because of their unique genetic abilities and possible interactions that they may have with spores. The EVs shall be fed the spores and diluted into their drinking water, as they seem to be. I mean, I don't know, what part of these spores fuck people up do you not understand? I get that, like, for a week or what, before Jack suddenly died, he believed he could see the future. But, like, he died very quickly and horribly. A series of something of behavioral changes have been observed within the test subjects over the course of experimentation, becoming a lot more energetic and aggressive as well as the ability to almost see danger before it happens. What a weapon that would make. Several colonies have been found among the stomach and throats of the test subject, while not functioning similarly to an elemental stone. But I hope the progress of the spore growth and the overall health of the subjects has proved my hypothesis is correct. It's looking up for old Sim? Oh, because he's Simon, right? Cleaning up what Professor Lee left behind was harrowing to say at least. What we found there wasn't natural. It's clear that the EV's genetic makeup, while being able to sustain the abilities of the spore for a period of weeks, just isn't enough to keep it together. Wow, what a surprise. Yep. Yeah, I don't know why you believe that Pokemon could do well with the spores, better than humans, but there you go. Putting that behind me, the board has dictated that I shall now be in charge of Epsilon. Not exactly how I saw my career going, but here I am. This morning I received a litter of EVs in my office and baffled by this utter display of either pure malice or incompetence. Simon's tests already prove that the EV genetics makeup, much like humans, cannot sustain a colony of plant structures. Doing it again is just cruel. Yeah, wow, what a surprise. I mean, okay, tell me your name. Lily Fitzgerald. If you're with this company up to Epsilon experiment, you've probably learned by now that this company is all kinds of fucked up. With a new selection of EVs, we were able to begin the second attempt. We were altering concentration in their water to make the growth more gradual. How many EVs are you going to have to kill? After the fifth attempt, it is plain to see that the EV's genetic makeup is not adaptive enough to sustain concentrated plant colonies. It seems that growth from within has a random factor that tears cell structures apart. Perhaps if we introduce the spores while... or they're like, oh yeah, maybe if we do this differently, while we're in an egg, it'll work. Yeah, because fetuses are so super really good at their immune system. With a batch of 6 EV eggs during gestation, we have given them daily injections of dilute spore mixtures shown to the most has already... Okay, and it seems like the eggs are working now. I guess the egg experiment is how we ended up with our lovely Jack. Not Jack. Joker. The experiment giving us readings of the eggs broke today, so of course we fixed it and discovered that the readings from the eggs with the new experiment were different. So they're not even close. So we decided to turn the sensor on and off multiple times, and we got a wide array of vastly different readings. My theory is that the contents of within the eggs exist within the quantum superposition. I'm elated at how this project is going, and the eggs haven't even hatched yet. I think that's a key point. The eggs have not hatched yet. I'm just gonna blow my nose. I'll be back quickly. Oh. Okay, I am back. Yeah. Oh, this is a shiny one. It's 8:01. The morning around 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. The first few eggs began to hatch, more specifically 3 of the 8 subjects. 2 of the 3 were resounding failures, resulting in a vicious black liquid. Luckily, number 3 was a more promising failure. The third subject was a strange fractal plant feeding into itself, projecting its own reality. It remained stable for approximately 9 hours before fully collapsing in on itself and leaving no physical trace of its existence. This is extremely promising. Did you hear what you said? It was stable for literally 9 hours before it completely disappeared from this world. How is this promising? Everything you do is telling you not to do this, but you just keep on going. I feel Simon was flawed in his selection of Pokemon. Now we know what we're dealing with. Structure of infinite potentials. Eevee's genetic makeup simply cannot account for that. I spent the last week working with lovely Sophie Newt trying to ascertain a potential Pokemon to reconduct the experiment, and we think we've landed on this perfect specimen. Ditto has a genetic potential to imitate any Pokemon. Like, seriously, why did we not think of that sooner? We have reset the experiment to identical conditions and attempted to see if this works any better. Before I read this, I will say I really like the background here. It's a really good touch. We've got our first set of hatches today. No successes. Resultant specimens were completely formless. We're trying to... Yep, a greater concentration of spores. That sounds like a good idea. Seems to me having increased the concentration too much. Ooh, who could have seen that happening? Our next batch of hatches were incomprehensible. Drove the 2 lab techs nearest to the eggs insane. We managed to subdue them before they managed to do damage to the specimens. But unfortunately, this hatch will need to be disposed of. I mean, when are you going to stop? So, well, you found stuff in your mind as growing, and you're like, oh yeah, let's mess around with this. This seems interesting. Okay, fair enough. You discover something new and you want to play around with it. And then one of your lab techs who looks after the spores starts to go crazy and dies from the inside out. And you're like, now that we know that this can kill people, how about we start putting it into the town's water supply and watching what happens to them? Because, apparently they can see, oh, okay, yeah, Endless, I think you should leave in. Well, I think we're very much, towards the story, end of the story, and I'm literally just summarizing everything we learned. And they're like, oh yeah, let's put him in people's town supply because, apparently he saw the future before he died. And we're like, oh, well, we're not getting much still. How about we put more spores in the town's water supply? All good, Endless. Thank you. And they're like, yeah, okay, well, that's okay. You can put more spores in the town's water supply. And we're like, okay, well, what we've learned from this is that these spores kill humans. So we can't really do much of that. But what about Pokemon? And we're like, okay, well, how about Eevee? Let's give it to some Eevees. And we're like, okay, well, that killed all the Eevees. Okay, let's try some more Eevees. Still pretty much killed them all. Okay, well, how about we put it inside Eevee eggs? Pretty much died or just disappeared from existence. Okay. Well, how about we put it into Dittos? It's like they do not give up. They just keep on going. Our efforts have paid off, and I guess that's why they kept on going. We have successfully fused a Pokemon with spores. The specimen defies the laws of physics, as we know. Them existing in multiple states at once. You look at it, it's something angelic beams of light emanating from a great form, and blink, it's gone in its place in a small skitty-like thing. The next something... Space a small skitty-like thing. The next something impossible to even imagine. Naturally, this phenomena is beyond my area of expertise, so I've brought to Richard from the physics team to take a look. And is Richard the Richard who came on the plane? It is, right? Tess is... Oh, I know Tess. Tess is the other scientist who was on the plane. So I've just been fucked up here, right? They knew what they were doing. I believe so. They've stitched me up. Stitched me up bad. With the help of Richard's observations, analysis, and guidance, we have managed to tame the specimen's superposition. The only other possibility, because we know this takes place in March. No, so we're in March 2025. I thought maybe we are seeing the future, but that's not. It's not, because these notes look so new. I thought maybe they were future notes, but no. Which is fair, so it won't be safe, or maybe under. He says. Yeah, okay. Zeta 07 shock stimulation test. Oh yeah, great. So now not only are you putting this Pokemon through living torture, but you're also shocking it with 6,000 volts. Yep. This evil team has no redeeming factors. They are just pure evil. We got our first reaction from a subject today when we tried to remove its carib. Oh, literally, you just keep on getting worse. This team just keeps on getting worse. Shocking it's not enough. You have to tear it apart limb by limb. I get the feeling this might be the final note. Yep, it attacked the lab tech today. What a surprise. But I can't say I'm optimistic for him. I'm excited how powerful Zeta is. Yeah, he's really powerful, huh? Yep. But for now, we need to find a way to calm it down, get it to heal. Corporate agrees. In fact, they've done my job for me, and contacted someone to come and take a look. Perhaps a behavioral scientist like myself, some Galarian behavioral researcher by the name of Kira Thornton. Richard and I will be going with Kane from corporate to pick her up and bring her here next week. Until then, we're keeping Zeta 07 restrained as best as possible. Yep. When am I? Not who am I, not where am I, when am I? Good dark reference. When is Mickle? It's so cold. I don't understand. Pain. Yeah, don't worry, buddy. I feel for you. I mean, reading through everything that you've been put through, it's pretty horrible. Joker? I guess for parts of Joker, I need to go and collect them. I can touch this, right? Although one of them was just a shadow, I don't think the strike worked. As long as I don't need to fight them again, I'm okay with that. So this is part of Joker, and it's made of even smaller parts. It is a bit weird that there's literally no music here. Normally there's something like ambient going on. I'm sorry for what they did to you. The city, those who suffered for the experience, yeah, like fucking the whole town. The whole staff as well. I mean, what kind of sane person would stick with this company? And I guess that's the point. They're not sane. But my god. Wrong button. You pet it. Oh, it's just he just wants to be happy. He just wants to mess around. It's just a little fella. A little joker. And then we need to find the plant one, right? Which I guess might be like far left. I'm slightly worried I'm going to get completely lost in here, but hopefully it'll be alright. There is a wall keeping us somewhat contained. Oh, and there's a wall there too. Okay, cool. I guess the cave area, right? Because that's where we found Mr. Cave, the plant. It's okay. It won't hurt you. I won't hurt you. Don't be afraid. Huh? That cave just straight up disappeared. That's all of them, though, right? I use Zeta07. Wow. That is a cool design. That is the cool design. Are you part of the Joker too? 2014. I am free. Swimming in the sea of entropy. That's all that is. All that was. All that will ever be. 2025. I stand before me. I am bound. Oh, fuck me. I mean, it's. I can't win. I can't win. We lose. I'm hoping that they accept the loss. Maybe there's like 2 endings. Yeah, I can't throw a Pokeball. Okay. It used precognition. It protected itself. Okay. If I knew that, I would have used Drow or something. Yeah, it's just using precognition. Maybe I'm supposed to only be able to beat it. No, it knows Outrage. Yep, well, Joker fainted. GG. It charges towards me. Yeah, well... I don't know, there's no way I can beat that. I don't know. It's a game. It is. It is precognition. Yeah. The game's title. A weird way of wording "see the future." I'd like to beat the game, especially because like I am invested in the plot, and like I think the way it presents everything, like that thing at the end was so cool. Where like you walk up, then you see this really crazy stripe, this beast of a thing, and then colorful text just displayed on the front of your screen. That was really cool. But I don't think I'm going to be able to beat it. And every attempt is going to take like half an hour to get there. Just to walk there will take like half an hour. Not to mention the however much time I need to grind. I don't know. So it is tough. I don't think I can beat the game. At least not on stream. It'll have to be like a 5-hour stream of me constantly trying. I mean, that thing was Outrage. It's not an easy Pokemon to beat. It's not a low level. And it's not easy for me to level up. It's not easy for me to attempt it too, because it takes so long to get to. It is a shame that, like... I don't know. I feel like it's very harsh to have, like, make it so you can get to the final boss without doing any Pokemon battles by just running from everything. And if you do that, it still takes you, like, half an hour to even get to it. Or longer. And then you can just end their run right there. I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, I'm not playing this game as, like, intended because I haven't been building a team or grinding. But at the same time, the way that game is built, it's so incredibly hard to do that. You can't really grind because things get stronger as time passes. On top of that, items are so finite. You run out of PP, you run out of HP, you're like begging to get the correct drop from a Pokemon. Otherwise you could really screw yourself over. I mean, it's just luck whether you get a leopard berry or not, right? I guess you can learn where like you can find elixirs and whatnot. But even then, like, you have to walk so far through wild encounters. I don't know. So I might just end it there, sadly. Maybe if the game gets updated, I can give another shot, but I can't even think of like an update that would make it easier for me. I mean, my main problem is that it'll just take me so long to give the boss another attempt. And not only will it take so long for me to get there, I need to take so long building a team. and if I die, all the work that I put into that team is gone, and I need to attempt again, because there's no save button, so I can't just save scum. So yeah, like I do enjoy this game amazingly, and I'm glad that I got to see the climax, so to speak. I thought it was really cool. But I might just end my attempt of the game there and hope that Cade or someone beats it so I can watch the finale. Because I really do want to see the finale. Like, I'm not kidding when I say, like, I'm invested in this game. It's just, like, a lot to do all that. So I guess I'll... Alright, will this take me to the main menu? It'll be nice to give my final thoughts a bit more on the main menu. Obviously, a really cool game. I mean, the formula is incredible. I really like a game that does something like that, where you use knowledge to make it so that your second attempt in a time cycle will be different than your first attempt. And this game does that perfectly and almost purely. Like, sometimes these games cheat a little bit, and you actually do, like, carry over things or whatnot. Or there'll be things in the second attempt that you can try that you literally could not have tried in the first attempt. Like, there's a game called 12 Minutes, which is a point-and-click puzzle game that's a time loop. And the way it's presented, you'd think that it's like a pure, you retain the knowledge, and that's how you figure out how to solve the puzzles. So really, you could just solve a puzzle in the first loop if you wanted. But in reality, the game doesn't work like that, and you only get certain informations after you trigger certain things beforehand in a previous loop. So it's not like a purest time loop game in that sense, but I mean, this game completely is. If you play this game properly and you know everything, and if you have the knowledge of the passwords, you can even make a beeline for the ending and beat this game in one run. But reality, on your first playthrough, you're not going to have all the information. You're going to have to explore, you're going to have to find things. It's going to take you more than one run. And I think that's really cool that the game has actually been structured like that successfully. It's done that time loop thing really well, I'd say, in terms of that structure. Plot of the game, also really intriguing. I mean, and I like the way it's presented through the notes and whatnot, gets you very invested. Only things I'd say is sometimes the notes aren't too readable. I think a transcript option is straight up required when everything's handwritten in pixel font. Because like reading handwritten writing is hard enough and tends to like require a transcription option. Reading handwritten writing in pixelated font is really hard. And when the whole game story is presented through that, it feels almost required. And then on top of that, I thought maybe sometimes there are too many notes. Just not really, but sometimes like in the lab in the cave, it felt like I was reading the same thing again and again. And like, okay, yeah, I get the gist. These spores bad, people performing experiments. But I did like that the story was presented that way. It made it very interesting and got you more invested because it feels like you're discovering the story. It feels like you're being a detective. The game's not giving it to you. You're figuring it out yourself, and that feels satisfying. But sadly, where I struggled with this game was, I guess, how the mechanics are all tied together with the Pokemon battling mechanic. I'll go over this in more detail, I guess, in a forum review, but obviously with the way the game's set up, a Pokemon battling mechanic has to exist. There has to be a fail condition. Because otherwise you can't reset. Like, in 12 minutes, for example, taking another time loop game, it's when you die that you reset. When you get killed by the murderer. Or when 12 minutes passes. And I think, I don't know much about Outer Wilds, but I believe you're on a clock for when the universe resets. But this is a Pokemon game, so it takes Pokemon battling. When you lose a Pokemon battle, the universe resets. But I feel like the way that Pokemon battles work, it just ends up being incredibly frustrating. Because most of the time, and maybe other people will disagree, but so I'll just say this is my personal opinion, and this isn't me saying something factually is badly made. This is just how I felt about this mechanic. But I did not enjoy the idea of having to make a new team every time I reset. And that every time I reset, whatever team I worked on would be completely destroyed. because of I don't know, for me it just feels like a waste of time. It's like I put all this effort into trying to catch these Pokemon, leveling them up, but they're gonna die anyway, because if I don't win this run, it's all for nothing. But obviously I understand that with the way the time loop says, I mean, I praised it for being like a very pureless time loop game, in that everything actually does reset. So you can't just have the Pokemon given back, you know? You can't have them keep their Pokemon, that doesn't make sense. So I don't know what the correct mesh of mechanics is there, but it's hard. I mean, on top of that, the risk of rain mechanic, things get harder as time progresses. I feel like, I don't know if it's how it's balanced, but again, it just didn't feel right. Things getting gradually harder, and my Pokemon gradually falling behind just with time. So like, even if I stop to grind, it feels like I shouldn't be stopping to grind. There's not so much the time that stopped me from grinding, it's probably the item restrictions that stopped me from grinding as much. But I guess a mixture of the time and the grinding restrictions, it almost never feels, I mean the item restrictions, not the grinding restrictions, it almost never feels sustainable to try to level up your Pokemon and make them stronger. It feels like you're always going to be falling behind, or you're always going to be losing HP or losing PP. It's never going to be sustainable, so that's why I ended up just running from everything. Maybe if I actually gave it a more solid attempt and tried to beat everything, I would have had a better chance. Maybe I would have gotten lucky with the items and being able to keep the team sustainable. But I mean, it seems very luck dependent whether you get the right items, and then combined with the fact that I know in my head, the moment my team faints, all my effort, all my leveling up, all my party collecting will have been for nothing. It just makes it not seem worth it. And then I guess all of that combined with the fact, I mean, this is something very manageable, this last point, but the cave encounters just felt deadly. It really like killed the momentum. First part of the game, like you have no idea what's going on. It was super mysterious and super intriguing. I mean, it's crazy to think that at the start of the game we were just investigating some mine going on, so we knew the lab wanted the mines, but we didn't know anything about a virus taking over the whole town, and that the lab was doing these evil things, purposely putting the spores into the town's water. It started off as a simple mystery, and it's cool to see how that expanded, and that got it like me intrigued. And I think the start, the grass was well balanced. It all felt well balanced, and you got a lot of items in the start. I mean, if I redid that start section more, maybe I could have had more of a chance, because the start was quite generous with the items it gave you. But I feel like they dwindled a bit as you went on. I mean, the cave didn't really have many items except in those laboratory tents, but even then they didn't have many items. And then the town, yeah, like the town's very bare. You go in the buildings and you get some items, but the buildings are so far apart from each other. You have to do like 10 encounters to get from one to the other. But yeah, so I think that's my general thoughts. I did enjoy the game, and I think it's a really cool game. It's just some of the mechanics make it really challenging for this game to be realized to its full potential. And while I say that, at the same point, I also don't really know how to fix it. I can't really offer a suggestion because of where my flaw seems to be is with the whole Pokemon mechanic. But you need the Pokemon mechanic, so I don't know. But Riley, Rain, if you're watching, I applaud you. I mean, this is a really cool game, and I'll leave a little message on the thread. And I do want to see you there, and then, I don't know, maybe I'll decrypt the game and take a look at the files so that I can see the ending for myself in my own time. And maybe I'll wait till Cade or Thundergo plays it. But yeah, thank you for everyone who came out to the stream. I am going to have to pop off now. I'm sorry to enter this on such like a damp of a note. I normally don't let myself get defeated by jam games, but I don't know. I think this one's just unbeatable for me. Me, someone who's not good at battling, I can't really dedicate 1 hour into an attempt at the final boss that I'm likely going to fail. So thank you everyone who came out. It's been a great time. See you later.